Let's start our file source connector. And for that, first thing, let's go to the Kafka. And I have already unpacked Kafka. And so we need to download the Kafka and unpack it. And after that, we go and see that how we are going to start that. The first thing is, let's go to the bin file and search for the file that we are going to use for the shell script that we are going to use in order to start Kafka Connect. So Kafka Connect can be started in two ways, in the standalone mode and in the distributed mode. Distributed is more for production setup, and since we are starting locally, we are going to start that using we are going to start the standalone mode, right? So let's open it. Let's open and see what is in that file. So what we have in the Kafka standalone shell script is that we are going to start that first. What we need for that, right? The first thing that we need is we need the Kafka standalone properties, which we have here also in the properties, and also we need two properties of whatever connector we are starting, right? In our case, we are starting Kafka file source connector, so we need that connector in order to start our Kafka Connect, right? That's it. That's all we need, right? And but before that, what we also need is we need to start our Zookeeper. I have already started that, and we need to start our Kafka. I have already started that. If you don't know how to start those, I have another video for Kafka setup, so you can go there and start your Kafka Connect and the Kafka Zookeeper. That's it, right? After that, now let's go again to our files and let's see that what are the properties. So properties are under config file here. So if we go to the config file, we can see that there are different properties for the different connectors. What we need in our case is the Kafka file source, right? So let's go to the Kafka file source. I have already opened that. In the Kafka file source, what we have is we need to mention the name of the name of that connector that we are using. We need to mention that which is the Java class, right? Which is the source Java class. So we are going to go to those to Java classes and how to set up the Java classes in next probably in the fifth or sixth tutorial. We are going to see that why those are important. And also we can start connector with the different tasks. Let's say that we have a task, we have some work to do, and we can't parallelize that, right? We can do that so we can start several tasks that will do the same work. We can parallelize that work. So in our case, we don't need that. We just need only one task, right? So just read from the file and write to the Kafka topic. And what we are going to do in this case is very simple. So we are going to read from the Kafka topic. We are going to read from the file, which is the source Kafka Connect file. We are going to read line by line what is in that file, and we are going to publish that to Kafka topic named Connect test. So we are going to publish those messages. Let's go to the source Kafka Connect file. Right here we have only like a source Kafka Connect test message 1, test message 2, and we can add also whatever messages we are going to add in the in real time, right? So let's say we have only 2 messages. We are starting a Kafka connector, and these messages are being published to the Kafka Connect. If we are adding here third message and we are saving that, that message also will be sent to the Kafka. Okay, so that's Kafka Connect file source, and also we need Connect standalone, right? Properties. We also need that in order to start our Kafka. So what we have here, the first thing is we need a plugin path, right? So Kafka, where we are going to the class that we are using here, right? Where we are going to take that class. So for that we have a connectors. So we have a connectors files. Actually, this file doesn't come out of the box with Kafka. If we go here, right, I have created this folder. So because it doesn't come out of the box from Kafka, So what we need to do is we need to create for each connector. So for example, I have JDBC for connecting to the database, but in our case, we need a file stream plugin, right? So you can name whatever you want. So I named it file stream plugin. So if we go here, we need to download and put our jar file here. So you can go to Maven, and from the Maven, you can download the Kafka Connect jar and put your jar here, right? In order to start it. Otherwise, your Kafka Connect will not be able to find the class to start. So that's the plugin part. So we are adding this. We need to add this in order to find our connectors, right? And for that, we need to go to Kafka, and we need to create the connectors folders and put there whatever connectors we are going to use. And the first connector is being the connect file. Okay, that's the first part. And the second is we need to set up for our standalone Kafka cluster properties, right? Kafka cluster configs. The first thing is server itself. We are setting the server itself, and also we need the converter, right? Key and value. When we are publishing a message to Kafka, we are publishing key and the value. So we are publishing here key converter and the value converter, and also we need a schema registry. We are going to talk about that again in our later episodes. So here, what we have in what we don't need for the schema for the string, right? So that's why we are setting that to false here, and that's it. So also what we need is we need to set the offset where we're going to store the offset. We are storing that for the standalone in the local file, and also we need to set the interval. And also the last one that we need is we need to set the worker ID for our standalone mode, and we need to set the client ID. That's it. That's all the configuration that we need to start the standalone Kafka Connect with our source connector, right? So now let's go to the command line. If we go to the command line, so we have again started Zookeeper, we have started Kafka Connect. So we have started Zookeeper, we have started Kafka, and now we need to start the Kafka Connect worker, right? So for that, again, we are using a script file. We are using the Kafka Kafka Connect standalone properties, and also we are using the properties of the Connect standalone and whatever connector we want to start here, right? So we are starting only one connector, but we can start here as many as we want, right? So we can start 2, 3, 4 connector. So we are only starting Kafka file source connector, which is here, right? Okay, that's it. Now let's go and start our connector. So let's run it. Okay, our connector has started, so no issues is there. So our worker has started with only one connector and the one task, right? So we have only one connector, which is the file source connector. So what's going to happen is this file, this connector, it will take it will read our file. It will read our file, and whatever the messages is there, line by line, it will publish those messages to Kafka. And also what we need is we need to consume from that Kafka, right? From that Kafka topic to see that they are indeed being published to Kafka. So let's run our consumer here. So if we run our consumer here, so as you can see here, right, I have already started my consumer. So the messages that are being published to that Kafka topic is already consumed by our consumer. Let's publish more messages, right? Let's say that in the real time we are adding to our source Kafka Connect file, we are adding more lines, right? So we are adding a new message appended live, right? So let's add it. Okay, let's remove the quote here. And let's send that message. Okay, we send the message, and if we go to you see that we have added a new line here, and the new message is being published to the Kafka topic. And let's add one more, right? Let's test more. Let's say that the live live message 2. So live message 2, again, let's add that to our file. So we are adding to our file. This message is read by the Kafka connector. It takes that message, it publishes to Kafka, and in Kafka we are receiving those messages, right? You see that a new message appended live message 2.